welcome to the Saturday Morning Board Game Show. Today we've got Sarah Meadows,
Hannah Johnson,
and Will Meadows in the house, plus a bunch of other people back there. We're ready to have some fun. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. We always enjoy hanging out, playing some games, talking about some of the fun stuff we've been doing. We've got some new segments for you guys today. We've got some special guests that were kind of in the house. They were in the house. They're going to seem like they're in the house. Get ready. It's going to be great. We also always like to give a shout out to our sponsors before we get the show started. So we want to thank the Op for sponsoring our show. We've got some really cool games coming from them very soon that we're going to be doing some playthroughs, some learn to play, some, I don't know, we got all kinds of stuff coming on. It's going to be great. Stay tuned for that. And then, as always,
but not today.
Right, not today. But we got some
games.
We got double mugs. I didn't even know we had two of these. I thought one was 25th century and one was, did you steal like an extra one?
Either way, thank you for the Game Topper mugs.
Yeah, and for the Game Toppers, we have definitely upgraded our gaming experience. So thank you to Game Toppers for their sponsorship of the show. Today we've got lots of games to look at. There's some, you can't see it. We changed our camera angle. Games are ready right here on the table. We've got games ready on that table. Are you guys ready? Let's do it. Give us a game, you guys. Let's go.
Hey, welcome. I'm Kevin.
Melissa.
And we are talking about a game on the Saturday morning board game show called Celtae. This is from Pythagoras.
Oh, it's weird. It doesn't have the title on
I know.
the front.
It's all on the side. So, anyway. There we go. Celtae, and the art is from the Miko. So, yes. So this is a turn-based game, number of rounds in the game. On your turn, you're going to be doing some actions, and main action. What you're going to do first, though, is you're going to move this action marker 1 to 3 spaces around the board, so you can sort of see on the different corners of the circle. Corners of a circle. Circle corners. You're going to move it, and then you're going to be optional. You can swap out one of the tokens that you have in your hand with one of the tokens that are connected to that corner. So, for instance, if
let me go first.
Oh, go for it.
I'm set up to do, because the actions you can do are actually on the board.
Yep.
So the action pawn here can reach this action, which is recruit, or this action, which is build or farm. And I happen to have 2, I don't know if they're in the shot, I happen to have 2 of the build pawns, or tokens, and there's another one there. So I could swap that out.
Yes. For
and
3.
The number of tokens you have basically increases your strength for that action. Yeah. So I am on the bottom half of the board, so I could build in one of these citadels.
Yep.
My player board, which you probably can't see, says I need to discard 3 matching cards.
Yep.
But I can reduce that cost with each of my tokens. So basically I could build, I was going to build in the pink because I had pink cards, but I don't have to use any cards.
Right.
But I'll build here into the pink one without discarding anything.
Great.
And then I would get the bonus of drawing 2 cards.
Okay. Great.
And then I keep these.
Yes, and then on my turn, I will now move the action marker. 1 to 3 spaces. I'm going to move it 3 so we can talk about what happens when it goes.
That was 2. Yeah.
So I'm going to move it 2 spaces so it happens when it goes. So I have a green, a blue, and a red. I think I'm going to swap out my blue for a green. Now I have 2 greens and a red. When the green is activated, and I can take the green action. I can take a green action, a yellow action, which is farming, building, or I could battle. So I have 2 green. I can take a farming card from the northern side. If I was down here in farming, I could take a card from this row, and you take from left to right. And you can get more cards based on how many tokens you have up here. So I think I'm just going to take this one. And these cards, you'll notice they all have the battle symbol on them. Those are important for doing the battle, which we can talk about some of the other actions other than farming and building. You're gathering cards. The management of your tokens is really important. Melissa's a little, I was kind of surprised.
Now I have 3 yellow, which is actually bad
really
because
bad.
I have no variety.
Right. So it's harder for you then to do other types of actions because now you're limited in that. There are ways to rearrange those. There's actually ways to recruit more workers in the game, and that's the blue action. You want to talk about the blue action a little bit?
Sure. So over here on the recruit, so let's say we were over there and I decided to swap one out. For each blue token that I have, I can recruit one of my workers.
You get to recruit one immediately.
Yes.
And then for each one you have in your pool, you can recruit another one.
I guess you can see it right there on the corner. There's little spaces where you can recruit tokens to put into your pool that will permanently
which is really
enhance.
Good, really helpful for later sort of your gameplay gets more powerful because you have all those extra tokens on your player board plus the 3 that are in your pool. I think that's really a cool part of the game. The other part of the game is battling. Well, there's actually another part too, but another part of the game is battling, and that's if you're on this side or this side. And what you're trying to do is, if you see these two, can you see them on the camera? Yeah.
There's a 7 strength and an 8 strength.
What you're doing is you're taking your number of red tokens that you have, plus your cards that you have, and you are trying to equal or beat the numbers that are on there. You'll notice these green symbols. Those are points. Anytime you see those green symbols, you're going to see them on these cards over here, there. You have them on your player board. Like if you, I don't know if you can see the my player board.
Yes.
Yes. So you can actually see if I can up or recruit enough workers, I can start getting points that way as well.
And build enough of the little citadels.
Yeah.
But yeah, so battling, you're gonna discard cards, and they have different icons.
Fortresses, traps, and warriors.
And you want the same icons to help you make your tokens then more powerful.
Correct. The other thing is, at the end of the game, based on the number of tokens in the citadels, you're going to get points. And I'm trying to think of other ways you're going to get points.
Each time this comes around, we're going to take one of these progress tokens and put it on one of the cards, and then
they can't see.
Oh, yep, here, way down. Hey, look, there
the cards.
You can put it on the cards to start unlocking bonuses for endgame points.
Yep. So the other part that we didn't talk about is everyone also has sort of a player power.
A leader.
A leader, thank you, Melissa. And you can choose, and they also give you points at the end of the game, and you can choose like halfway through the game if you want to do side A or side B of the leader, just depending on how you're doing with getting those points. But they also have special things. So lots of different ways. I think the cool part of Celtae to me is the locking, getting more recruiting, and then you're getting more powerful in the game.
And then the cards are multi-use. The symbols are going to be for the citadels. And the bottoms are going to be for the battles.
Yep.
There's also druids that you can try to unlock by getting tokens over there.
Yep, and then you're getting points for the druids as well. Lots of things. This is a very Euro-y game with action selection, so upgrading.
Yeah, and then the length of the game is going to be determined by how fast people keep moving this around.
Because these tokens get moved over every time you pass this black arrow.
And that triggers endgame.
Yep. That is Celtae from Pythagoras. I think we're going back to the couch.
We are talking about a game that is not out yet, but coming to Kickstarter this month.
Secret? Not really.
River Valley Glassworks from Allplay. This is from designers you may know, Adam Hill, Ben Pinchback, and Matt Riddle.
Oh, I do know a couple of them.
Yeah.
I was like,
And art from Andrew Bosley.
No, it's a strong word. Oh, okay,
Yeah. Andrew is well known for his fun animal characters that look very whimsical. So in this game, you are running a little business collecting glass from the river.
Oh, that's adorable.
And your animals will be doing that work. So on your turn, you have some glass pieces that are different shapes.
Cool little river stones.
Yeah, little stones from the river. And you will select one to spend. I'm going to do this. You find one that matches. Each one has a different slot. And you'll add yours to the river. And then you can take one of the ones on either side. Ooh. So I'm going to take these. And they will go on my board. I don't know if you can see my board.
It could.
All right. So you're going to fill your board left to right. If I get a matching stone, then I'm going to fill a column.
Ooh.
And they will score at the end of the game based on how well I've done filling everything up. This tile is going to go to the end of the river, and we will refill from the bag.
Now, do I ever get more to spend? How?
Good
Yes.
question. When you run out, you can pull from the central pool.
Okay.
Yes, so instead of taking your turn of gaining glass from the river, you could take a turn to pick 4 from this pool.
Okay.
So you can only ever have 5 in your possession, so you probably want to wait till you have 1 or 0 left to do that action.
So in
So,
clockwise order, I would go next.
absolutely.
No.
You also.
No.
Hold on. You also.
Upside down, reverse camera clockwise order.
Are you accidentally cheating already?
Maybe.
This is-
Yes!
I'm trying to help the audience at
Accidental
home.
cheating.
I was gonna take a turn to show you stuff, but go ahead, do your thing.
I know you said something about white being the most common
Yes.
colors.
Yes, you
So
got
there
a little rarity
is-
chart
Okay.
that
chart.
shows you
Perfect.
how
I
hard
took-
they are to get.
2 that are very common, which is
Okay.
fine. There's lots of strategies.
So
and
I
I've
will
seen-
I really
put.
felt like that was clockwise.
Will.
You said it the opposite when we were talking about like introducing ourselves, so I think it's just whatever works for you. But,
It is.
so that I'm gonna take these ones.
Oh, I wanted those ones.
I know
They
you
go on your
did.
board.
These ones go on
yeah,
my
so
board.
you've got some spending stones, and then you've got some collecting
Okay.
stones.
Spending stones and.
This guy's gonna
things.
hop, and that's perfect. Thank you. You hooked me up. I like that.
You're welcome.
So
I
now-
did that on purpose.
So now she's accumulated more stones here in the river. So if I play my pentagon shaped here, I can collect 3 stones to put on my board.
Yeah.
And then the order that you put them on your board is important because you're more likely to get higher.
So will there be
stones.
some stones that I won't be able to collect because I
Yes.
don't have enough?
There
There's
are
not enough
more
colors.
colors than can fit on your board.
Okay.
If you ever take a stone that you've either filled the whole column or it won't fit because you filled your row, you'll get negative points and they'll go in your overflow
Ooh,
area.
that's what a cool strategy. That's really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it's a very simple mechanic. Like pick some stones, put them on your board. But
No.
there's a lot of like mental math that goes into. Okay, I'm more likely to get the orange one, or I'm least likely to get
orange
So it's going to be
ones.
hard to build that one up. However, if you can get like your common stone here, I'm more likely to get 15 points on that rather than
Okay.
something else.
So end game scoring, you're going to score every row where you have a starting one here on the first slot, and every row going
That's
over
completed.
however
as
however
far as it's
far
completed.
is completed. So right now, if we were to end the game, we wouldn't end the game now. Obviously, we only took 1 turn. I get 2 points for this, and then you're going to score your 2 highest columns. So you want to do both of those somehow.
Yes.
So, but if you notice these columns down here, if you get up to the final spot up here, it's worth 35 points, which is
I'm
a
gonna flip that around and show you a
huge.
little bit of an example of how it's starting to look.
So you
By the end
want
of the game, you'll have a bunch of stones. And so,
Yep.
ideally, you want to get all the way across. What stone am I missing? Yellow or something? So that you can get that 22-pointer. The next row, you're only going to go as far as you run out of hit a gap. So I'm only going to get 2 points for my second column, even though
Get
these
1
stones
point
are over
for your
here.
third column.
For my row, or I don't know what's
Rows.
rows and columns. And then this way, you're going to score your
Your
2 highest.
highest.
So
rows.
this one would be 3 points, and this one is 18 points.
Yeah, so ideally, I'm like really looking for that green so I can get
So
crazy
what triggers
points.
the end game?
When somebody has 17 stones on their board,
Okay.
then we will finish the round and
So
do
you
another
want
turn.
to spread out quickly and then build up, and only 2.
Ideally, yeah. It
Ideally.
doesn't always happen because whatever's on the river.
Yeah.
We did one other thing we didn't mention is that like you have to pick the shape that matches. However, you can turn in any 2 matching stones to take anywhere on the river, but then you're putting 2 matching stones on a thing for people to get, which is, I guess it doesn't really matter. But
Which is fine if it's going to give them
Matching
negative
shape.
points.
ideally,
That
you
would
want to
be
give them those negatives.
Excellent.
It plays pretty quick, and it's the type of game where you finish it and you're like, oh, wait a minute, now I got it.
Let's
play
do it again. Yeah,
And then
okay.
you're like, no, it didn't quite work. Hold on, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So we played it a bunch of times, and each time I'm like, I'm getting a little more strategic. My score is not always better, but I feel like I'm playing much more strategically, and it's fun. And these are just kind of fun and like
They're very tactile.
satisfying.
Yeah.
This is one that I think will win some awards this year. I'm gonna call it now.
Is this a
'Cause
nominee?
I think so. because it's simple. The rules are very simple, but there's a lot of thinking involved in what you take and what you leave in the river for other people. You can play it with up to 5 people. And yeah.
It is. All right, I think we're going to head over to the wall. Will over there has a special interview for us. Let's head over that direction. I'll come at you with 5 things you didn't know about Ted Alspach. Ted, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, great to be here.
Welcome to the Saturday morning board game show. I've got a couple questions for you, just like I normally do on the show. I'm going to run it by you, give you a couple answers, give you a couple seconds to answer each question.
All right.
But thanks for joining us today. I'm excited. All right, question number 1. What is your middle name?
Oh, I don't have one anymore.
Who didn't know that at all? Anymore?
No, anymore. So, all right, this is actually kind of fun.
Great.
So, thanks to 9/11, I don't have a middle name.
Wow.
That's what I'm going to blame it on. So, I was born, my full name when I was born was Theodore Harold Alspach. But I went by Ted all the time. I got my driver's license in Pennsylvania as Ted. I got my passport as Ted. Moved to California, got my driver's license there as Ted. Moved back to Tennessee about 7 years ago, and I said, hey, I'd like a Tennessee driver's license. They said, sure. You just need your birth certificate and any other form of ID. I'm like, yeah, here's my passport, here's my birth certificate. Good. And they're like, yeah, these aren't the same people.
Crazy.
And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, this is Theodore, this is Ted. I'm like, yeah,
People.
duh, people, come on.
Work with me.
And no. And then so they were like, no, you're going to have to get all this changed. And I'm like, I'm not changing my passport to Theodore because that's confusing for everybody.
Right.
So it was actually easier for me to go legally change my name officially to Ted than it was
just
to
drop the middle name entirely.
I could not get, and it wasn't a Tennessee thing. It was that's what Homeland Security has now said, that you need those things to be able to get your ID.
Crazy.
Anyway,
I love
no name anymore.
No middle name whatsoever. Number 2. Where did the name Bezier come from?
It came from Pierre Bezier.
Yeah.
Pierre Bezier, of course, is the founder of Bezier Curves. Originally as an engineer back at AMC and Renault. Back he went to know how to cut curved car parts using a computer.
Yeah.
Came up with a cool equation for that. I thought that was awesome. I loved PostScript, Adobe Illustrator, fonts, things like that. Named my company after him. I asked his permission. He gave it to me. Said, that's fine as long as you don't sell porn. So,
there we go.
Sorry, if you're looking for porn from Bezier Games, not going to happen.
That Bezier curve, I guess. Oh, all right. I love it. That's the design nerd stuff going on. Excellent. All right, that was what I was supposed to read. Number 3, what's your favorite Bezier title? Do people know that? What's the...
See, this is a rough one. It's usually stuff I'm working on.
Okay,
at the
changes
point.
a little bit.
I go all the way back. I would probably have to say Suburbia. Suburbia
Okay.
for me,
All right.
I love how it all comes together, and it feels very. I love SimCity. Not anymore. I like City Skylines now, but I love SimCity, and Suburbia. It to me feels as close to that as you can possibly get.
Love it. Now you guys know at home. Number 4, what's one game you just really don't enjoy?
The number 1 game on Board Game Geek, Brass.
Whoa.
Brass Birmingham.
Whoa.
Whatever.
Oh, the hot seat.
I know. What's wrong with me? I've tried to like it. I want to like it.
Yeah.
I love Age of Steam, another Martin Wallace design. Mm-hmm. But Brass just irritates the crap out of me. I think it's fiddly. It really bothers me. Everyone says, oh no, just play it a few more times. I'm like, I've given it 2 shots where I really tried to get into it and like it, and I just don't. So.
All right, I love that story. Number 5, what is the next game to be announced by Bezier on the spot?
It's going to be Sears Catalog. Look at this. Here it is.
Oh, he got it right there.
Really
Check it out.
copy.
Tell us about Sears Catalog.
Yeah, Sears Catalog. It is a shedding game, but the designer of this, Taylor Reiner, would call this instead an almost shedding game, because you're trying to get rid of almost all of your cards, but not all of them.
Interesting.
You know.
Yeah. Got to play it.
From
Great stuff.
playing now. Yeah, you want to get rid of most of your cards, hold on to just a few high ones if you can, and then have someone else go out. Because if you go out, you get 0 points, but if you don't go out, you're going to get some points, and whatever your highest or your lowest value card is, it's going to be positive points for you, and that's good.
Yeah, very interesting. Very much a brain burner. Get rid of all this. Wait, hold on. What? What am I supposed to do? How do I figure this out? Really interesting. Very much enjoyed it. The official announcement for this is not coming out until like Monday or something, so we're scooping it here for you guys. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks so much, Ted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you on the show.
Thank you.
Let's head back over to the couch.
Oh, and we got Sarah kneeling.
I'm eating
Surprise!
Hello, welcome back to the couch. We are talking about a small box game from Pandasaurus called Mind Up. This is a card game where you're playing cards from your hand And how you play them, I'm not sure what happened to my another number, but I will find it.
Your number 1.
Where's my number 1? That's okay. We'll find it in a second. While I look for that number 1, Melissa, what do you do on a round?
If you've ever played the game For Sale, it is kind of similar to that. There are cards out in the middle. It's right there. There it is. There's your hand of cards.
It's hiding.
Is that my
Nope, that's your one.
Here's your hand of cards.
Thank you.
So, yes, we are
We're good. We're good.
super prepared. So we have 4 cards out in the middle because we have 4 players. What's going to happen is from our hand of cards, we're each going to simultaneously choose one card and put it down, face down.
Yep.
And then once we reveal, we will order our cards. So the highest card played is going to get the 36. The lowest card played is going to get the 23. And then we're going to put them into our scoring piles, left to right. So at this point, I would say just pick a card.
Yep, pick a card.
Kevin and I have played. The others have not. So
I have.
Hannah has played.
And reveal.
All right.
Kevin wins.
So we order them here. I was the 13.
29, Kevin. What?
So it goes into the leftmost, which is the 4. So now what happens if Sarah or I get another purple, we're going to stack it into this 4 slot. And cards are going to be worth 4 points in that slot.
Yep.
If I get a different color, it's going to go in the 3 point.
Yep.
And we randomly set out these cards, but then we all order them the same. So the point values are the same.
All right.
Yes.
And 3,
I
2,
need to
1.
something.
It's a real game. It's a real game.
Kevin, again.
55.
There you
Oh.
go, Sarah.
So I get those negative points.
So I got another purple, so it will be worth 4
it's okay.
points, but it does have a -1 on it.
Plus 2. That was okay.
All right, and here we go again. 3, 2, 1. Reveal. This is how we play.
Like I haven't even looked at my
Does it
cards
really
yet.
matter? 26 beats your 25.
There we go.
Sarah gets this one.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get to that 3rd slot. The 3rd color is going to be worth 5 points each.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can I do it? I am going to do it right here. This is the winning one right here for Kevin.
Nope, I got it.
And reveal 21.
1.
No, people.
Yes, I did get it. That's good. Oh, you want pink.
Sarah's
There's
going
no
into
pink.
the 2 slot.
There you go.
Yep.
That's okay.
All
So
right.
we have 3 cards left in our hand. We're going to play 2 more rounds, and then whatever card is left in our hand
Goes into
will
our-
go into
Yeah,
our
yeah.
tableau.
Thank you, Melissa, for reminding
So
me.
Okay.
think about what you want to keep.
Yep. Okay.
I don't really like it. Most of those colors.
I don't like any of those colors either. But we're going to try
I'm
for it.
feeling okay about this.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Reveal.
This is bad. 42.
Oh,
No, people.
that's funny.
How did that?
Sarah.
I know. I also wanted the green.
All right,
Okay.
do I want pink? Or
All right.
this is what
I
want.
am.
Oops, sorry.
This one I want to
want-
keep. This is the one I'm
And
gonna play.
reveal.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got what I wanted finally.
Sorry.
And then
What
your
is that
final
plus
one
2
goes
on
in.
that purple.
Okay.
And now, you should have cards that are in front of you, and each one's going to be worth the number of points that are above it. Plus, you're going to get negative and positive points that are actually on the card. So, for instance, Hannah wants to show.
So it's 4 per card, so it's 4 times 3, 12. But it's plus 1,
Minus one.
one,
So
so
it's
it's
12.
so it's still 12. So then you have an additional 6, which is going to make it 18 minus 1, 17, plus one card at 5, which makes it 22.
Yep.
And then 1 card at 2, 24, plus an additional 2, 26.
So we play multiple rounds of this. I think it's maybe 3. These cards now become your hand for the next
Sarah's
round.
like, what?
That's okay.
That's okay. I think they got the general
and that's
idea.
the idea.
But yeah, so you're going to play that.
And these get
that's
reshuffled,
right.
so one person
Right.
basically shuffles them, lays
we
them
all doing
out,
the
and
same.
then everyone has the same.
I do find
So
that
1, 2, 4, 5, 3. Now those higher point ones are a little further down.
But I really find it interesting that your cards you played have now become your hand, which
Oh.
then you are like, oh, how do I do that for the future? So
Absolutely.
that is,
Cool.
and you can play 3 to 6 players with Mind Up from Pandasaurus games. Quick little card game if you like we play a little fast playing, but sometimes you think a little bit more.
I was just putting cards down for the experience.
But it plays like 15-20 minutes. So that is...
I think this is one we should definitely take when we go on vacation to our... Because I think we could teach it to people very quickly.
Sounds good. All right. We are going back to the wall.
All right. For this segment, I wanted to know how much does the internet know about Tantrum House. Ooh. So I started specifically as aggregated through these chat bots, or ChatBGG is what we're calling this.
What's your name of your segment?
Ryan's Ramblings. Because this will just be me ranting and rambling for a little bit. Hopefully it's interesting. So I started out asking, what is Kevin Delp's favorite game?
Ooh. What does the internet think Kevin Delp's?
And Google Bard, now Gemini, did not have an answer.
Oh.
ChatGPT did not have an answer. Oh, no. But Bing did. Bing Copilot, which is ChatGPT 4, said that Kevin Delp's favorite game is...
Raw.
It's Lewis and Clark.
That's correct.
Oh, look at that.
Smart. This should be called
it quoted an interview.
Is the internet smarter than me?
That's
I
correct.
don't think.
It quoted an interview from 2015 that we had done on our site. And then I asked, what's Ryan Pills' favorite game? And it couldn't tell me, but it went on about how I really enjoy Roblox and Minecraft. I think it was confusing me with games with Ryan. The young kid who's like a much bigger YouTube star.
Yeah.
But in that vein, I was like, I should just ask, what are 10 things I may not know about Tantrum House?
Okay.
So
This is
I
going to be
asked those three. I asked Pop AI and I asked Perplexity. They gave me some interesting answers.
Okay.
Bing was the most conversational. They said Tantrum House was founded by a group of passionate board gamers who want to share their love for tabletop games with the world. Their enthusiasm and dedication have fueled the channel's growth. They talk about our diverse content, our family-friendly approach. We tend to have a spotlight on game components. We have our own board game convention, and we attend several conventions that we highlight.
Yeah.
We have collaborations and guest appearances. We do behind-the-scenes shots, community engagement, game design insights, and we have a passion for gaming education.
So what you're saying is the internet likes us.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It was very broad, not very specific, but that was probably the most conversational response. I got more specifics from other responses. So I want to ask you.
Oh no.
Who do you think the others, what do you think was their response when I asked, or they either volunteered it or asked them specifically who founded Tantrum House?
So did they go after Will, like Will and Ryan? Because you guys were part of like the earlier stuff. Didn't you pop up a lot in the earlier videos? Was it all Will and Ryan?
In the very first videos, it was Will and I.
Yeah.
Kevin came a little later.
Yeah.
After we had actually incorporated.
Ooh. So that's the thing. Like, is it going to go like incorporation? Or, I definitely think it's not going to have any of us girls. I think it's just going to focus on the guys.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Perplexity was the only one that volunteered it without being asked.
Oh, that's fun.
They said founded by Will and Sarah Meadows.
Oh.
Sorry, they were the only ones who volunteered Will and Sarah Meadows.
Okay.
There was one that volunteered somebody else. Gemini said... Oh, no, not Gemini. ChatGPT 3 said was established in 2015 by Kevin Delp, Melissa Delp, and Ryan Pillsbury.
I'm sorry, but...
Golden.
That's the only time I'm mentioned. Ryan Pillsbury.
I think you have a new nickname.
Yeah.
You volunteered this information. It's now yours.
Yeah. And Pop AI also volunteered Kevin and Melissa Delp.
Okay.
The other two both said Will and Sarah once I prompted them specifically who founded it.
So it still went with the couples. At least it got the guy and the girl.
I asked them, what was our focus, and it was, reviews, content creation, community building, and there's a lot of like jargon around that. But I also asked what board games have they published?
Okay.
Board game.
Did it get Steam
with
Court?
Parentheses. It did not get Steam
Oh
Court.
no. Oh no.
Most of them claim we haven't published any game.
Oh.
One of them said we have published a game.
Which is?
And I want you to guess what the name of that game is.
Potato Project?
Happy saving.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna punish you.
Table
Okay.
flipping.
Yeah, the table flipping extraordinary convention game.
They developed. This is ChatGPT.
Okay.
The ones who claim that my last name is Pillsbury.
Yes, it is.
They developed their own board game called Gearworks.
Gearworks.
Okay.
A steampunk-themed puzzle game.
Close.
I mean, it's not far.
Close.
Yeah, not too bad.
I've played Gearworks.
Yeah.
So I
Get a little further.
do have a card in Gearworks. There is a Melissa card
Oh,
that
there
was
you
a
go.
promo.
Maybe that's it.
Well,
Yeah, it was just like,
Yeah.
where is this coming from?
I guess there is the steampunk theme does have gears on the box, maybe.
yeah, it wasn't too far.
So, I don't know. That's hilarious.
Somebody in the audience asked, when did Jonah Do join Tantrum House?
Why did you?
Oh,
He has
why?
always been
Oh.
here.
Did it say why?
just
Oh,
like
it did
me.
say why.
Oh, yeah.
I chat GTP'd when.
Yeah?
Do you want to read it?
Oh, sure.
Oh, goodness.
What's it say?
Yes, you do.
Jonah Do joined Tantrum House in 2017.
You guys right?
Tantrum House is a media company that produces other board games.
2020.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
Jonah Do is one of the co-founders of Tantrum House.
Look at that.
Also not.
Is known for his energetic and engaging on-screen presence in their videos.
Oh.
The founding year varies from 2010 to 2018 amongst these five.
It was probably based on my
Yeah,
information. because
it's
I don't
pretty
know.
great. But,
It's Will's fault.
There's 10 things you may not know. Don't trust AI. Anyway, that was fun for me.
That was definitely fun. Thank you for your Ryan ramblings.
Yeah. I think we're ready to go back to the couch.
Hey, welcome back to the couch. We are talking about a game called Etherium. Now, this game is currently on Kickstarter.
That's the prototype we're looking at.
Yes. This even says prototype, work in progress. They are almost, actually, could you bring it up?
Yep, I will.
Bring up Etherium on Kickstarter. I did an overview video of this a few maybe weeks ago, and they said we are almost funded. Could you show it on your show? So, or they said on your channel. I was like, well, we have the Saturday Morning Board Game Show, so we're gonna show off just a little bit about this game called Etherium, and I think they have like 2 or 3 days left. How many days?
71 hours.
Woo, 71 hours, and they are
at 77%. So we're almost there.
Woo, that's a
We're
little bit more
close.
than most. Okay, so
They're getting close. Although I've seen it happen where the campaign
48 hours,
creators
yeah.
have pushed really hard the last 48 hours
Yep.
and have made it over
Yep.
the last little bit.
So we'll let you have the. This is
Okay.
like the battle.
That's fine.
All right. So in Etherium, this is a programming game,
Okay.
and these are prototype components, so they shouldn't be. Take that one off if you can. Everyone has their own starting board. Can you see the?
Yep.
Ooh, nice.
Full pant legs.
Yeah. So this is a really three-dimensional board where these all sort of what do you say? They sort of like stack inside of each other.
Yeah, the corners click together.
Yeah. No, I don't know click together, but when it goes in the box, they all like have the Russian doll.
they nest.
They nest. Thank you.
Yes.
Everyone starts in one of the corners, and actually I'm going to start with their gatherer and their warrior. The gatherer is the one with the shovels.
Yeah.
He's got 2 shovels.
Shovel
It
arms.
feels like a little Minecrafty to me.
Yeah, little shovel arms.
And the warriors.
And the warrior has swords for arms.
What you're doing is you have action tokens, which are the numbers. So you take everything out but the numbers. And I don't know if you can see yours on screen a little bit. There we go.
You can see.
You can show.
So these all have numbers.
Yeah. So you're going to get 1 through 4 to start with, not 5 and 6. What's going to happen in a given round? It's sort of a hidden programming game where you're going to sort of hide your board behind a screen, and you're going to place out your numbers out on the board, and each row sort of tells you the actions that you're going to take.
It's got kind of
Yep.
key on the
So you
side.
have movement, gathering, upgrading, warrior, and then the last one is it's like a connections thing. You're rolling dice and trying to get extra things, which I'll show you that to you here. Maybe. This is also in French, so we're having really fun. So depending on what you roll, you're gonna get extra benefit for that bottom bottom one. So the basic point of the game is to get prestige. You're gonna do that by multiple ways, but the main way is through gathering Etherium, and you're getting Etherium mainly through, well, there's a spot on here on your board you can gather if you're on the Etherium spot. So not only do you have to so you have to move your gatherer to the middle spot to Etherium, but you also have to control it because there's conflict that's happening. And throughout the game, you can upgrade your workers, which I think is kind of interesting. You're taking these tokens and you're putting them on top of this is a prototype. So get a better
There we
one.
go.
Yeah, there we go.
So they
And
stack. So now
that
it's
is the number of resources you can gather based on the height of your gatherer.
interesting.
So if I'm on the stone here, or the rocks, and you want to gather stone, then you're going to be able to get more stone the higher your gatherer is. The higher your warrior is, the more powerful he is, and you're gathering... we actually have the resource tokens here. So you're gathering these
The different resource
the
types.
different resources to build and to get other things in the game. You can either guard your home territory, which is good because that's going to give you prestige as well. You can trade in resources to get Etherium, which is helpful. And then I talked a little bit briefly about conflict. If you have a warrior in the same place as another warrior, you're going to be conflict. If you have higher, you're going to be more powerful. You're going to win. This guy would go back to his home base. And you can even get more programming tokens later by upgrading, which is helpful because then you'll be able to do more things on your board. So
Nice.
yeah, and the other cool thing in the game is player power. So Sarah has this is the more combative player power. So on here it says you can get extra power by spending resources. This guy has a better gathering power. He gets extra resources for gathering in certain places. And then you have two other player powers as well. So everyone has like asymmetric player power.
Very cool.
Yeah. I think
This is very interesting.
right, that's just cool with the way the board is laid out. So that is Etherium. And I have an overview video that you can check out on our channel. That will probably be a little bit less spastic. And you can check out their campaign, which Sarah says only is like 71 hours left.
I think Coralu posted the link. Yeah, it's
thanks,
almost over.
So.
But hopefully they fund. That would be great.
Cool. I think we're going to go over to the wall.
Hello, welcome to what we're calling the wall, I guess. And I love alliteration, so my segment is going to be Melissa's mechanisms. And so I have chosen a board game mechanic or mechanism, and I'm going to talk about some of the games I love in it and kind of ask you questions. Kevin, well, I have my notes up. I was hoping someone would look at comments while I was talking.
I can look at comments. Sure.
All right. So the mechanism that I want to talk about today is worker placement.
Okay.
And I think it's good to kind of give a definition because when I typed in worker placement in BGG, it basically gave every single game, like it was putting code names as worker placement. And
That code is not a worker placement game.
so for me, worker placement is when you have workers, tokens, something that you are placing out onto a board to take an action. And I do feel like it needs to be a common board. So not just your own thing like Scythe, that's action selection. But worker placement, where when you're placing workers, it's denying other people.
And not just a token, to me it's gotta be almost like
a meeple or
usually
something.
gotta be like a meeple or some sort of worker. It's not just like a disc. Although there is one game we'll talk about which is a disc.
I mean, and sometimes discs are printed as workers.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I see worker placement as a more narrow version of action selection, and I'm not going to talk about dice worker placement in this one because I think that can be its own category.
We'll talk about that in other Melissa mechanisms.
There are tons of games. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about worker placement and the two games that, at least in my memory, are my introduction to worker placement.
Let me guess. Is this one of the first ones?
So Lords of Waterdeep was one of my first introductions.
Waterdeep?
Waterdeep, Lords of Waterdeep, where you have your workers and you're placing them out on locations to take actions, things like that. I think this is a good introductory one because it's not too complex.
Yeah.
The other one I don't recommend as an introductory
But it's a great game.
But it was one of my first because we started really gaming back in, maybe about 2004-ish.
2004-2005, yeah.
Was Agricola, which some of our friends will not play with us anymore because it's so brutal. I believe Hannah has stories about that.
Absolutely.
But again, it's kind of a classic worker placement where you are taking your family members and putting them on places to take actions, and then other people can't go there to take their actions. So I would love to hear from you all what some of your favorite worker placement games are, and what do you think is a good introductory worker placement? I'm going to move on to more complex because worker placement there's so many options.
Okay, which one are we doing?
Let's go with the big one.
Oh, the big one. Okay.
So one that I have really enjoyed, this is like the big giant box, is Anachrony. Especially if you get those miniatures that you can put your little workers in and then you actually put the miniatures out on the board. What's interesting about this one is you have different types of workers. You have scientists, you have construction people and analysts and different things. And if they go onto certain spots, they get benefits. Or maybe only certain types can go on certain spots. So then you have the types of workers that are important in Anachrony. So that one I've really enjoyed.
I saw I think in the chat said something about Castles of Burgundy. I would say that's more dice worker placement, which I think is amazing. But
I
we're sort of trying to limit ourselves in this one.
Tercurian's another really interesting one. We didn't bring that box. The same company as Anachrony. Then you have worker placement where you can actually bump people.
Ooh.
So that's going to be something like Apiary.
That's a newer game.
So Apiary, you can bump the workers, so you're never truly locked out, but even I think Charterstone also has that aspect to it, but you are potentially benefiting the other player when you bump them. A simpler version of that is asking for troubles, and I would actually put that into the good introductory category. It's space themed, like these little cute little space monsters, you're getting resources, but it has that bumping mechanic. So either you take your whole turn to bring everything back, or other people could bump you back so you don't have to do that.
People are saying King Domino and Queen Domino, although I would maybe put that more on the...
I would say tile laying. I would not call that worker placement in my definition. Because even though you're putting a worker to select a tile, it's not like there are 15 action spaces that you're then reducing by putting actions
Lost Ruins
out.
of Arnak. We were gonna bring that. Is that on your list?
I did have a list of hybrids. Did we not actually put it into the bag? Lost Ruins of Arnak, I would say, and Dune Imperium both have worker placement plus things. So plus the deck building or something else. There are a lot of games that are starting to mix and match.
Can people see what I'm bringing up down here?
So I had a game that Kevin and I...
we're debating.
And maybe I'm leaning against it now. I don't know. So,
I leaned against this as a worker placement.
So Barcelona has a bunch of spots on the board, and you draw 2 tokens out of a bag each turn, and then you place those tokens on an intersection, and you can take the actions.
So more action selection.
But your citizens stay on that spot, so other people can't take it. So I would put it as a maybe worker placement S.
All right. Do you have any more? I have one more box down here.
I'm not even sure if I remember which one's down. Oh, one thing I did want to mention is there is a certain game that is recommended a lot as an introductory worker placement game.
This is Melissa's confessions now.
And it's one that I have never actually played. I'll give you a second. You can think about, what game that is fundamental, been around a long time.
Yeah.
Worker placement, Melissa has never played.
We'll let people comment and see if they can guess. And while they guess, we'll talk about this last one.
And then I'll give the answer at the end.
Ooh, stay tuned. All right, so this, we decided, was a worker placement game, but it's unique in how it works.
So in Tzolk'in, you are putting out workers on your turn, but you don't get the benefit when you put them out. You get the benefit when you take them off.
Yep.
So they go onto gears, and as the rounds go, the gears turn, and your worker gets put into a different spot, and then you decide, I'm going to take my workers off and get the benefits. So you are placing workers, but then you have to wait, and then you get the action once they come out. So Tzolk'in,
all right,
really
let's see
good
if
game
anybody's
if you haven't
guessed.
Stone Age.
People.
Lords of Waterdeep.
All right, we said.
Well, I said Lords of Waterdeep was one of my.
Yeah. Nick said Stone Age ? People are saying they like Feast for Odin, Viticulture. Yep, those are all good ones. Atlantis Rising. Yeah, that's a good one. But Everdell. All right, so
Everdell I would say is worker placement. A lot of good worker.
Melissa, Nick has one.
Someone did guess. I have never played Stone Age. Now, is that one more of a dice worker placement? I can't remember, or if it's a regular.
Regular worker placement. Yeah.
But I have never played Stone Age. I hear it recommended often. It just wasn't one that I started with and moved past it to other games. So thanks for listening to me. Well, I can't say ramble because that's Ryan's thing. Meander. Thanks. About worker placement games and what mechanism would you like to hear about next time?
Back to the couch.
Hello. So we're waiting for Kevin and Melissa to meander back over here so she can muse about a different game now.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about sea salt and paper from Pandasaurus.
Yes, so
specifically the new expansion.
The new expansion, Extra Salt. So sea salt and paper is, I believe, is Bombyx, the European publisher, and then Pandasaurus is the United States, North America publisher. It's a quick card game where you're trying to get sets of cards and matching cards to some of your cards. If you have like 2 crabs, you can play them down and get a special action. Well, Sea Salt, the Extra Salt expansion adds a few new types of cards. And maybe I'll go through here and see if I can find some.
Well, here are 2 of the special cards. There are seahorses and there are starfish. And then the other ones are...
I believe there's jellyfish.
Yeah, and lobsters.
Here's the sea star.
Absolutely
this is called starfish.
Starfish, yes.
I
origami type art.
The origami art.
Yep. Oh, there we go.
It's very cute. I need a tutorial on how to do some of these, I think.
Right. This guy's pretty impressive.
Yes.
All right. Looking to see.
There they are. All right. So if you've played Sea Salt and Paper, you'll know that you're trying to get points. How you get points is normally you are getting them from getting pairs of either fish or boats or making sharks and people together, although they don't want to be together, but that's okay. This one...
You want the shark to be happy in this game.
There we go. Or you can collect as well, so you're looking for shells in the game, and the more shells you get, the more points you get. There's also another aspect of Sea Salt and Paper where you're trying to collect the same color cards, which is going to help you get points. But the Extra Salt expansion has these cool new cards. There's maybe 7 to 10 new cards in the expansion.
Yeah, it's a small little
there it is.
Expansion, but it adds a few new mechanisms. So if you play your jellyfish with a swimmer, basically it's hurting the other players their next turns. They only can draw 1 card from the top of the deck instead of their other options. They can't play cards. They can't call and go out on that turn.
Yep.
Your starfish, you play it with a pair and it negates the special power you would normally get, but it scores a 2 extra points for that pair.
Which is
So
really
that
good.
pair would be 3 points instead of 1.
Cool.
You have a lobster you can add in. There's, yeah, those are the main new mechanisms. I believe there's also the crabs. You can now get points for crabs.
Ooh,
that one
nice.
comes in with the expansion. Just wanted to talk about that really quick because we have another game that we are mentioning.
Yes, and that is called, here it is, Historical Mystery Death at the Ball. This is from Hobby World, and this is a small sort of mystery style game.
I think there's a little bit we
I
can
was gonna
show
say, be careful, Melissa.
without. So it reminds me a little bit of Time
Oh, we can
Stories.
show the back, the bottom one. This guy. This
I
guy.
recognize.
This guy died.
Aww.
And we believe poisoning was involved.
We believe.
So it's going to, and this one's the one that you start with. So I feel okay. You spread the cards out, and they make a panorama. How are we doing, Kevin? Do you want to look
No, that's
and
great.
see on the
Yeah,
screen?
that's good.
They make a panorama, and you can flip them over for a certain amount of time. You have, I think, 24 time units.
Okay.
And there's a ton of cards. So you're going to have more cards than there are units of time. Sometimes they're people that you're talking to. Here,
So what you're saying is you can flip 24 cards, or
There are ways to flip more cards.
Okay.
some of them won't have any time. Here, I think she unlocks like right away too. They're not in order. You'll need to put them in order.
I can do that instead of.
So, like I believe this lady has one card that doesn't have the hourglass symbol.
Okay.
So
it's
basically,
free,
you can
free.
flip that one for free, and then as you flip the cards, they may, let me see, they're going, like this one lets you unlock card deck 5 and card deck 6.
Okay.
So as you talk to people, it unlocks more cards, and then you decide which ones do you want to flip over to try to solve the mystery.
Now, did you think this was like entry level mystery solving, or like middleweight, hard to solve?
It's probably on the easier
Okay.
level because all you're really doing is flipping over cards and figuring out the story. So it is a one-time playthrough. The game is sort of.
It's definitely about efficiency though, because there are some cards you're like, well, we learned nothing there.
Okay.
And they say, hey, look at the people's expressions. Look at the pictures on the front. You may get
information.
clues by looking even at the front
Yep.
to decide which ones to flip over.
Well, that's awesome. That's
So-
awesome. I like details like that.
Yeah.
That makes
But
it
it's
fun.
Yeah, it is. This one is labeled 18 plus. Nothing's graphic in it,
It's
but
just the storyline.
it does have some adult themes, even beyond just the death and murder.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, that's historical mystery Death at the Ball from Hobby Lobby. It may come over.
Hobby
Hobby
World.
World.
Hobby World, thank
But
you.
I think it's
I was like, Hobby Lobby's producing games.
That's right.
Well,
You heard
It
it
may
here
come to the
first.
United States, I'm not sure.
alrighty.
So, Sarah, running. Sarah's
need a
running
person?
to the table.
All right, I'm doing the next one. So.
I can.
Welcome-
Go over. I played.
Welcome back to the table. Fortunately, I have the game already good to go. We did a playthrough of this the other night, so some of you may have already seen this. This is Cascadia, the rolling series. So there are 2 games on the Kickstarter campaign, and there's Rolling Rivers and Rolling Hills. They will set up exactly the same, but the central dice will be different, and they're different colors. And the deck of cards are similar, but there's different things on them.
Yeah, and the dice for each game have different special powers.
Yes.
So what
Yes.
they allow you to do.
So in the game, you will have a sheet. We would all pick one of the sheets. Here's our sheets from the other night, so we'll talk about this one. This one was a little bit more. We want to talk about Melissa's sheet, but we'll go over mine. In the game, you are trying to gain animals, and everyone will have a little tally sheet here to mark the animals that they gain from the dice. So we'd have a habitat or ecosystem come out, and these are the animals that we would need to complete it. So this one's actually pretty tough. So we'll roll the community dice, and everybody has their own 2 dice, their personal dice, and we rolled a bear, a fox, a choice of either a salmon or a hawk. I rolled 2 salmon, so you can choose all of one type of animal to gain, and you can use your own dice, and everybody can use the community dice. I would probably gain 3 salmon to...
I would probably use the special power of being able to re-roll.
Yeah.
So maybe I'd try to get another fox. No, I can re-roll up to 2 times.
Oh, you got a fox.
So I could get 3 foxes.
3 foxes. So you'd just mark on your little board here. Oops. So you'd mark, I added foxes or I added salmon or whatever. And then after you've gained the animals, then you will spend and mark off anything that you would like. And depending on which player sheet you're using, whatever is on the bottom here is what you're going to gain. So in this one, this is a river. So I would mark the river spaces, 2 of them on this board. And then there's pine cones. Pine cones allow you to upgrade or downgrade a type of animal that you're gaining. Or you could take 2 types of animals from the dice. So that helps you gain some more stuff. There are 4 different maps that you would play with in each box that are all different and differing abilities and levels. And there are many expansions that are in the box.
Lots of variety.
Lots of variety. You can combine the 2 boxes to play up to 8 players. So you select which set of cards you'd want to use, which set of the achievement. So these have this specific slot. What would happen in the next round after we did that one? The cards will slide down and new stuff will come up. So now you have some choices, and we just keep going through until you went through the whole deck of 20 cards. And some of the slots might have a discount. Some of them might give you a bonus for completing them. And you can set that up however you do randomly, or you can set it up however you'd like to make it harder or easier. And yeah, that is the game.
Yeah, it was thinky. We did, in our playthrough, we did 2. We did a level 1 from Rolling Rivers, and that was pretty easy. You still have to think about some things. And then we did the level 2 from Rolling Hills, and that one was definitely more combos and managing resources and kind of explosive things happening or not happening, depending on how well you did.
Yeah, so this one is on Kickstarter. You can check that campaign out. And there, we also, just so you know, if you have the base game to Cascadia, we have a promo card that you can get. If you head to GameFound and go to Season 10 for Tantrum House, you can get the promo card there.
For the regular Cascadia
For the
game.
regular Cascadia game, yeah. All right, heading back over to the couch.
The couch.
Welcome to the couch. We have a book that has 21 hand games in it by Don Eskridge. This was actually sent to us for review by Don, who is a fan of the show. So they sent us to us themselves.
Scoots a little bit.
We're gonna scoot a little bit. All right, so this is 21 hand games. I actually
I was off.
I want to show you some of the. Of course, I picked up the least colorful page in this book. It's actually really colorful, really easy instructions. There's 21 different games in here. It's ages 8+. They play in about 5 minutes, and we're just going to play a couple of them so you get an idea of what's happening.
I only have 2 hands, though.
All you need is this book and people.
Okay.
At least 2 players. You can go all the way up to 8. So the game we're going to play is Who and How. I'm going to be the Who. You're going to be the House.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not gonna be a house.
How?
Be...
You will be asking how questions.
With
All right.
hands.
So I will not be talking. I will not be making any noises or nodding my head. All I will be doing is holding my hands closer or farther apart.
Okay.
I have picked a person that everyone, including everyone in the audience, can play along with this, knows
Who that person is.
Who that person is, and you are going to be asking me how questions for example, how tall is this person? How far away? How much do they like
You're the only one
games?
doing hands right now.
I'm the only one doing
Okay,
hands.
our hands
All
are
you're doing
handless.
is asking how questions. You're going to ask me a question, how tall is this person? If I hold my hands close, that means they're short. Further away is taller, and somewhere in the middle is kind of like, somewhat.
Okay.
I will not be making any gestures other than moving my hands closer and further apart. If I clap, you have guessed that person correctly, because you can guess that person, and if I clap, that person you have guessed correctly. If I brush it away, that means keep going.
Okay.
That
all
is
the
the
rules.
entire game. That is the entire game. This is Who and How from 21 Hand Games.
Hannah gets to be the ChatGPT for us.
That's me. I am ChatGPT. I will now no longer be talking.
Okay. All right. So, question: is this person?
How?
Oh, how
How tall is this person? Tall.
tall?
Is
So-
it the tall? Can we ask it like, is it the tallest man in the world? But that would be the answer, right?
I think there's a specific
You
name.
There will be a name.
Oh.
There is a named person.
And the game provided it, right? You're not
No,
just
I picked a
She
person.
picked
Oh,
it.
okay.
How well known is this person? Really well known.
Are they?
I'm trying to think of how questions.
How old is this person?
Okay.
Okay.
This is a tall person.
How tall are they compared to Michael Jordan?
So not as tall as Michael Jordan, but not like super tiny. That's what I got from that. Tall, old.
How close is this person to us?
Pretty close.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, pretty close.
Oh.
How many states away is this person?
How often do we see this person?
A lot. Sort of a lot. So lives close by, sort of a lot. I guess how old? Like, but I want to ask, like, is the person still alive?
Is it Jonah?
That game, it said Jonah Dill was in the.
No,
the
she
I
picked
did
a
you
person.
person.
Oh!
I picked
Like,
a person.
wow, that's amazing!
All right.
That's why I asked for the clarification.
Yeah. So you pick a person, and then people ask questions. It's like 21 questions, but with less information, and you only
You're
can ask how
providing.
questions.
It's not giving you cards
Yes.
like
I
a
was like,
20 questions.
I guess you could.
And you have designated responses. You just can't
Correct.
just sign anything.
So I can only move my hands.
Yeah.
And the
For that
hardest
game.
part is I can't like not talking or making any sort of gestures to be like, you're oh so close or so far away or whatever. There are all sorts of, so there are bluffing games, real-time action games. There's one where if you were playing Thumb War, but you're using your whole body, you're trying to grab each other's wrists instead of thumbs. Some co-op
like-
games. I think there's one in here that reminds me of if you played Blood on the Clock Tower Light,
Okay.
but you're trying to get goats.
Goats.
Goat.
You're trying to be the goat.
Scapegoat.
Scapegoat.
Nice.
So anyway, that is 21
Very
hand
nice.
games. Thank you, Dawn, for sending us this copy for review and for being fans of the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Any questions before we say goodbye?
All right, some jokes about Pillsbury and Doughboy for Ryan.
He admitted it out loud. He could have edited that, so I think it's fair game.
Don't know if they heard that or not, but
He just made the appropriate noise for the Pillsbury.
yes, I'm just scrolling back.
Yeah, we do
See.
have some questions for the next Ryan Ramble segment. So
Ooh, wow.
Ryan will need to go through the
through.
comments for next
Okay.
month
And ramble some more.
because there were several questions we didn't get to today. So we'll have to add those next time to our show.
Yes,
Good.
and let us know what segments you enjoy or things that we haven't thought of. What ideas do you have for segments?
Okay.
So we have Will's doing his like 5 things that you didn't know about.
Yep.
I'm potentially doing Melissa's mechanisms if
I'm not
that's
doing these
interesting.
every Saturday morning.
Right.
So.
So
We'll
we'll cycle through
rotate.
different ones. We have Ryan's ramblings, which who knows what that'll be about.
Whatever he wants.
But what sort of things do you want to hear about in segments, or who do you want to hear from?
There we go.
Yeah.
And Thursday, Thursday night usually is our playthrough night. We may be doing a playthrough Thursday night of Flow, if we can.
Yes.
Possibly. If we can get it to the table before Thursday.
Because it just came in the mail.
Just came in the mail.
But it's on crowdfunding right now.
Yeah, I think it's already live, so.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's had a lot of buzz on all the social media channels.
Yep,
Haven't seen it. That is from Fantasia Games.
Which has done like Endless Winter and
Sweet Mess and some of the others.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate all your support, and we hope to see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.